Today, we'll be discussing an uncomfortable truth about Pokemon, one that the upcoming Pokemon Presents on July 22nd is poised to reveal in plain sight. The return of Mega Evolutions. Mega Evolutions returning in Pokemon Legends ZA is more than just a fan favorite feature making a comeback. It's an implicit yet undeniable confirmation from Pokemon themselves that their previous battle mechanics like Z-moves, Dynamaxing, and Terastallization have fallen short, and quite frankly, Pokemon is admitting to us that they were wrong. Part 1, Mega Evolution. To understand the significance of Mega Evolution's return, we first have to revisit its initial impact. Introduced in Generation 6 with Pokemon X and Y in 2013, Mega Evolutions was a groundbreaking concept. It allowed specific, fully evolved Pokemon to temporarily transform into more powerful forms, often gaining new typings, boosted stats, and unique abilities through the use of Mega Stones. These new forms helped bring older or less used Pokemon back to the forefront, making them more viable in the story and multiplayer. The mechanic wasn't just a random addition, it was deeply woven into the lore of the Kalos and Hoenn regions, tied to the strong bond between both trainer and Pokemon, making it feel actually meaningful, not just a button to press. Visually, it was extravagant, cinematic, and genuinely exciting every single time you saw it. It was even prominent in movies and animated shorts, showing how much the Pokemon Company believed in it. To say the least, Mega Evolutions were a fan favorite. It consistently generated more discussion, excitement, and genuine passion than any subsequent battle mechanic. It was, for many, the pinnacle of Pokemon's battle system innovation. Yet, after Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon in Gen 7, Mega Evolutions were absent from mainline Pokemon titles for 8 years. This absence left a void that Game Freak attempted to fill with new mechanics in each subsequent generation, attempts that, as we will see, often fell short of the standard Mega Evolutions had established. The upcoming Pokemon Presents on July 22nd is expected to provide substantial details on Pokemon Legends ZA, including the confirmed return of numerous Mega Evolutions like Lucario, Charizard X and Y, and Gengar. Before we proceed though, if you find this type of analytical content entertaining or valuable, please consider subscribing to the channel by clicking this button right here. Your thoughts and opinions are important to this discussion, and I do end up reading all of the comments, so feel free to leave your thoughts down below. Part 2, Z-moves. Following Mega Evolution's initial run, Gen 7 introduced Z-moves in Pokemon Sun and Moon. The concept was straightforward. Any Pokemon could unleash a single, super powerful attack once per battle by holding a Z-crystal corresponding to a move's type. This was presented as a universal trump card, a way to empower every Pokemon in battle. However, its implementation quickly revealed significant drawbacks. From a casual player's perspective, a primary criticism was the pacing. Each Z-move activation triggered a lengthy, unskippable cutscene. While initially novel, these animations became repetitive and tedious, disrupting the flow of battles and slowing down gameplay, particularly through repeated playthroughs. The associated dances performed by the trainers were also widely perceived as childish and aesthetically unappealing, further detracting from the experience. Additionally, Z-moves required a dedicated item slot for the Z-crystal. This forced players to sacrifice more consistent and strategically versatile held items, a trade-off many found unfavorable. And competitively, Z-moves were often situational. While they could provide powerful same attack bonuses or coverage options, they were frequently outclassed by more consistent held items and were seen as situational. Status Z-moves, which offered additional effects like stat boosts, were largely considered gimmicky and less impactful than traditional setup moves. Perhaps the most significant factor in Z-moves' lukewarm reception was the perceived role as a replacement for Mega Evolutions. Fans who cherished the transformative and visual dynamic nature of Mega Evolutions found Z-moves to be a less engaging, one-off burst of power. This direct comparison often led to a negative bias against Z-moves, highlighting that a universal mechanic does not inherently equate to a quote-unquote better or more beloved one. Part 3, Dynamaxing. In Gen 8, with Pokemon Sword and Shield, Game Freak introduced Dynamaxing. This phenomenon caused Pokemon to appear much larger, doubling their HP for 3 turns and transforming their attacks into powerful max moves with secondary effects like changing weather or boosting stats. Competitively, Dynamax was widely considered the strongest battle gimmick Game Freak had implemented. Its versatility was undeniable, it didn't require an item slot, could be activated mid-battle on any Pokemon, and offered immense strategic depth through its max moves. Abilities like Max Airstream Flame for speed control or Max Steel Spike for defense boost became central to competitive play. However, for the casual player and from a broader game design perspective, Dynamaxing presented notable limitations. It was largely a quote-unquote isolated feature. Its use was restricted to specific arenas and gym battles, meaning it did not seamlessly integrate into the general gameplay loop of an exploration and wild encounters. Players also expressed desire to use the new feature more broadly within the game, in regular raids or PvP outside of designed areas, but the mechanic itself remained isolated. Visually, the initial design of giant Pokemon was awesome, but many players found that beyond the sheer size, Dynamax lacked the strategic depth or lasting visual appeal of Mega Evolutions in casual contexts. It functioned primarily as a temporary stat boost, raw power play rather than a true transformation that altered a Pokemon's identity or strategic role in a meaningful way. Despite it being relevant in the competitive scene, Dynamaxing ultimately failed to capture the widespread adoption and enduring appeal that Mega Evolutions had achieved. Part 4. Terastallization. The most recent battle mechanic, Terastallization, debuted in Gen 9 with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This phenomenon gives Pokemon a crystal-like appearance and changes their type to a unique Terra type, boosting the damage of moves matching that type. Pokemon positioned it as an exciting new twist for both casual and competitive players. However, its reception proved to be highly controversial. On the casual side, a frequent complaint revolved around the silly hat-like aesthetic that appeared on Terastallized Pokemon. Many people found these visual additions unappealing or even goofy looking in some cases. Beyond aesthetics though, Terastallizing often felt pointless or boring outside of specific Terra raids. Non-player characters rarely utilized the mechanic in interesting ways, often simply boosting a type their Pokemon already possessed. Non-player characters rarely utilize the mechanic in interesting ways, often simply boosting a type their Pokemon already possessed. The requirement to recharge the Terra Orb after each use was also seen as a tedious extra step. Honestly, many people just didn't even use Terastallization during their playthroughs, and this was because of perceived lack of necessity or interesting in-game application. However, competitively, Terastallization was a different story, but not without its significant issues. It was heavily criticized for its unpredictability. A single wrong prediction regarding an opponent's Terra type could decisively cost a game, really, making it feel less about skill and more about a coin flip scenario. This unpredictability led to numerous discussions and even calls for bans in competitive formats. At the end of the day, Terastallization was better than Z-moves and Dynamaxing, but it struggled to resonate broadly with the player base. The fan base has consistently and vocally expressed its desire for Mega Evolution's return. This isn't just a random decision, this is Pokemon saying, hey, we know you guys prefer Mega Evolutions. And they know this because Z-moves, Terastallization, Dynamaxing, they just didn't have that lasting effect that Mega Evolutions had. Really, what it comes down to at the end of the day is Pokemon realizes its missteps in the past and wants to revise that. They want to bring back Mega Evolutions for the fans. And overall, this is honestly a positive thing. Like, Pokemon's listening to us, they're hearing us, and they're willing to bring back Mega Evolutions, because we all know it's the best. It was lasting, it was timeless, and we do miss it. So I'm personally really happy they're bringing it back. But what are your thoughts? Comment down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down in the comments. Hey big dogs. So the YouTube algorithm thought you'd want to watch this video? Let me know if they're right.